Hi and welcome to this tutorial, which is entering basic will instructions. So from the previous tutorials you would have seen that we operate in buttons. So if we're going to enter a will instruction, it's the will instruction button that we'll click. So if I click on there, the first thing I need to do is to find out what type of will I'm going to produce, and before I do that I need to confirm that I understand tenancy of property and the residential nil rate band uplift. So I've got a choice of 3 wills. We have a single will, a mirror will, and I can use a template. So for this example I'm going to do a mirror will, and as I say, it's going to be basic. Some of these tabs, like the trusts and the legacies, they're dealt with separately. So let's just put client details in first of all. So we've selected our type of will as mirror will, and I'm now going to fill in some client details. So I'm going to give Tom a date of birth, and Tom is married, and give him an address. If I need to, I can fill in the telephone numbers, give him a mobile as well. And if I've got a will in another country, or the client has, then if I don't want to revoke it, which I wouldn't want to do, then I just put yes and put the name of the country, and that will not be revoked. So if I do that, so I'm now going to put in Spain, and this will not revoke my will in Spain. If I'm domiciled outside of England and Wales, or I need to cover worldwide assets, that's just answering yes to those. If I am a partner, if I want to name my partner as a future spouse, that will automatically give me an anticipation of marriage clause in the will. Now remember, I've done client 1, so I now need to do client 2. And I'm going to give Tammy a date of birth. And I can copy over the address, and I can fill in the rest of this section as is applicable. Now the financial information is so straightforward, I won't even go through that. It is very, very obvious what you do. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to enter a child. So I add a child, and so we're going to add Ben, and I'm going to copy across the address. And Ben is bloodline to both Mr. and Mrs. Thumb, and I need to give Ben a date of birth, which I'll do. And I OK that. And I can add as many children as is applicable. Now on the executors, I have a number of choices. I can add spouse only, I can add them jointly with others or the bloodline children, or I can add substitutes, professionals, so there's lots I can do there. What I'll do here, just as an example, is I'll go spouse with substitutes. So I've put the spouse in there, so I just need to add a substitute, and what I'll do is, for speed, I'll make it Ben. And that's my executors there. My guardians work in exactly the same way. I obviously wouldn't need them if Ben's over 18 and he's the only child, but just to show you the software, I'm going to have sole individual with substitutes, so I add a sole individual here. So that's one, and I'm going to add a second one here, and I can fill in addresses if I want to. I'm just going through the bits that are not so obvious. And that's my guardians there. Again, funeral wishes, very basic, cremated or buried. And do I want to add any wishes in there? Legacies I'm going to deal with separately, as trusts as well, before residue. I'm just going to show you how to do the residuary estate. As I say, this is a basic will. So here, there are a number of things we can do. We can add levels. So level 1 would say be the spouse, level 2 would be the bloodline children, and level 3 might be 50% to one side of the family and 50% to the others. So that's how we can do it. We can also have 2 quick buttons here. The first one allows us to put the first level to the spouse and the second level to the bloodline children. So if that's what you want, which is quite a common one, you simply click that button. The other one, you can read here, will take the first level to the spouse and then the second level into a discretionary trust. And again, I'll deal with that on a separate tutorial. But let's just build up 3 levels here. So the first level is to an individual. It could be to a discretionary trust, or it could be life interest in residue, but this one's to an individual. And I'm going to put Fred in there, and I can go to issue if I want, and I can do a percentage as well. So if I turn around and say this first level, 45% is going to go to Fred, and then my next beneficiary is another individual, and Fred is going to get 55%. So that's level 1. And then I can add as many levels as I like on that. Alternatively, so I could go 2, 3 levels down. Alternatively, if I now go back into this, okay, what I want to do now is I want to delete this level, okay, and now I'll show you another sort of set of levels. So here we can redo this, and I'm going to add my first level as an individual, add a beneficiary, and this time I'm going to choose spouse. So my spouse is level 1, which I guess will be more common actually, and I'm going to add another level. So I've got level 1 there, so I know I've added my first level. My second level will be again individuals, and this time I'm going to choose bloodline children. Again, I can go on to issue if I want. I can put the ages there, but I won't bother with that. I'll just go on to issue. I OK it twice, and now I've got level 2 there. And then I can do what I previously did if I want to add another level and go 45% to one person, or 55% to 55% to another person. I can just make up my levels as I go. The other alternative, if I show you now, is if I delete this level, and then I'm going to delete the next level. If I wanted to do the same thing, so I wanted to, if I put my cursor over here, I want my first level to go to the spouse and then to bloodline children, then on to issue. I simply click that quick button and that's already done for me. So the common ones, which that's fairly common, it's just one click of a button and that's the residuary estate. So once I've done all of that, I can do my attendance notes. Again, very, very self-explanatory. There's 18 of them. I won't go into it now. I'll do that separately. You just click on the attendance notes and answer them, and that basically is a basic will. So if I now save and return it, that now sits under client instructions, Tom and Tammy Thumb, and when I want to send it to the back office, I click it, mark as ready, and then I send the instructions to the back office. that's how easy it is to make a basic will.